this is the finished fly. I'm using this fly for the Norwegian rivers, mostly Gaula and Orkla. In June, when I'm fishing in June, you have these very long days, almost sun all day long, which means that it doesn't get dark. It's almost, you can almost read a newspaper all night long. But some days, when it's very cloudy and you have thunder and lightning in the air, you have these purple natural colors on the sky, and it's very beautiful. And I like to use this purple colored fly, and this fly is called Night Light. I'm gonna start all over. I used the Pro Flexi Tube in black, and I'm using a 10 millimeter US tube as a small weight, and just a drop of super glue, and just press. There you go. And then I'm gonna tie it again. Well, I can always use the fly, so it doesn't really matter. This is my measuring point. You have the 10 millimeters of US tube and the middle, and 10 millimeters. And this is where I start, like 3 or 4 millimeters down. I start with the flat tinsel in the color opal, I think it's called. It's very shiny and has a purple cloudy appearance, if you can call it that. Just wrap forward, a tight, firm first wrap, and then just, 4 millimeters or so. And just finish it off. And cut off the excess. There you go. And then I'm going to use Vevus mini flat braid in the color purple as well. And this wrap it in the same length as the oval tinsel, also like 3-4 millimeters. It doesn't really matter if it's 3 or 4, as long as you use the same length on both materials. That's about it. And just finish it off. And you're going to use this mini flat braid as a tinsel for securing the hackle. So just pull, turn a few wraps, and then go back again underneath here. So this is ready for the tinsel for securing the hackle. And I'm using a slappen feather in purple as well. And these slappen feathers, of course all feathers has a natural curve, and you want to make sure that this natural curve is curving to the end of the tube, which means that you have to remove one side. I'm only using one side of the feather, so I'm removing the opposite side Let's see. And again, just secure it. Oh, I forgot the flue fiber. I did that actually on the other fly I tied the other day. It doesn't really matter for fishing, but I like the look of the flue fiber. Of course, it can be efficient if you have the right light conditions. Flue fiber can be very visual for the fish. Okay, tie it in on the middle, just a bunch of flue fiber on the top of the tube. A couple of wraps forward, and then just pull back and secure it. When you do like this, you make sure that nothing can be pulled off. Then cut the flue fiber. I'm not cutting, I'm just actually pressing the scissors by pulling the flue fiber, and just press the scissors. And there you go. That's it. And then I am going to tie in the hackle. When tied in at the tip, you have the smallest, the shortest fibers in the back end, and the longest fibers in the front of on the fly. That's what you want to have. All right. There you go. And then I'm going to start with the dubbing body. I'm using, let's see, I'm using a Senio's Fusion dub. All-time favorite dubbing for these tube flies. I like to use the dubbing wax as well. I've probably said that a few times, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter where you start the dubbing body, just anywhere. Just make sure that the body is even with the material. All the way up to the front of the US tube. I'm not even sure why it's called US tube. Maybe it's not called US tube. Anyway, it's a piece of metal that makes this fly a bit heavier. There you go. I just want a bit more. I like this fly to be a bit bulky. So I'm just putting a bit more dubbing on. So soon this is done. Anyway, the body is done soon. There you go. I think that's it. Then I'm going to give this body a bit of a brush right now also, and I'm doing it after I've finished the hackle and the tinsel. I'm gonna start with the hackle. It doesn't really matter. I like it to be like 4 wraps or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. And make sure that you finished off the hackle on the lower part of the tube, because you need to be able to tie in the wing, and if it's too bulky on the top of the tube, it's going to be a bit difficult to tie in the wing. Oh, let's see. That's it. I'm gonna cut this off. And then I'm going to take the tinsel, and I'm turning this so it's going to be like a rope, and make sure that it's on top of each hackle turn. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and again finish it off underneath. There you go. Oh, I'm not sure why I'm wrapping the wrong way. There you go. And also cut this mini flat braid off. Make sure that it's tied in, and then give another good brush. And this time, don't be easy on the body. I like to use this slapping feather because it's thick in the feather fibers, and you can give it a good brush, and it's going to be, right now it looks maybe not that good, but very soon you'll see you have a nice body with the fibers curved down. You can even brush them a bit if you want. There you go. Then I'm going to tie in the wing number 1. You can call it an underwing. I'm using a Polar Fox Tanuki. You can use whatever material you want, actually. And the first thing is that I'm going to remove the guard fibers here, the guard hairs. Not all of them, but most of them. So there you go. And then I'm gonna, spread the fibers around a bit and pull on the middle part, just to make it a bit more uneven. And then I'm going to remove the underfur of the hair. That's it. And spread the wing around the tube with the fingernail on your thumb, just by pressing down. There you go. And cut off the excess. And then I am going to make sure that this wing won't come off the first time you fish with the fly by using super glue. Just a small amount on your dubbing needle here. It doesn't really matter if you're going to get a small amount of super glue in the lower part of the wing. And then this is the exact same place I was before with the fly before. when I realized that the microphone wasn't turned on. This is a Guinea fold feather in purple, and I'm gonna tie it in also on the tip of the feather. There you go. Just a second here. And this piece, instead of just cutting it off, I'm just pull it back and then give it a few wraps to make sure that you're not pulling off the feather when you're starting to turn the hackle around. So give it a good and then double the feather. I like to just use a sharp tool here on both sides to make it a bit easier when you're starting to double the hackle. Don't do it too hard, but make the fibers go before you double it. It's easier. Use a bit of saliva also. That's it. Well, it's not going to. It's not easy. Try to, if there's some hackle fibers that's still pointing forwards, just try to press them back. And then finish off the first hackle. Also again, try to finish it on the lower part of the tube. Then I'm going to take some flesh. I don't want it to be too much flesh in the wing, but 5 or 6 fibers, just lifting them on. Try to keep them on one side of the wing. Give it a turn and then pull the other part to the other side and just give it a few wraps. Then you have like the flesh material on both sides of the wing. There you go. And then to the top wing, any black hair will do, as long as you have. It needs to be a little bit longer than the underwing. And the same procedure. Remove the guard hairs, most of the guard hairs, not all of them. And then the under hairs are the small furry hairs. I think we're here. That's it. And this wing just on top of the other wing. Oh, and this flies. Well, that's it. It's a good thing that this thread is quite thin. This turns out to be a bit bulky in here, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna cover this with the cone head. As long as you're using a thin tying thread, it doesn't really any problem. It's not even a problem. And for the last hackle, I'm using, again, I can't remember the English name. Ringneck pheasant, I think it's called, also dyed purple. Has a beautiful glare. Again, also tied in at the tip. Let's see. And the same procedure. The tip here, you just turn it back and wind to secure that you are not pulling the hackle off when you're starting to turn it. Cut off. Again, you need a small amount of super glue. There you go. And the same with this feather, just any piece of sharp metal to make sure that these fibers will go nicely back. You see, with this feather you're also covering the turns with the tying thread. So this is it. Finish this feather off. And cut off the stem. And then just go back with the tying thread. It doesn't really matter. You can go on top of the hackles to make sure that this won't come off. This will be covered with the cone head in a second. Use some super glue. Just put some super glue on the tying thread. And then just finish it off. You don't need the whip finisher. You don't need to whip finish it. There you go. Cut off the thread. Oh, I forgot the I forgot the jungle cocks. You can actually finish the fly without the jungle cocks, but you know, I like the look of the jungle cocks, so I'm using them. I had a jungle cock cape kept for years, and I just recently starting to using it. If you don't have a jungle cock cape, you can use the Pro jungle cock Generation 3. This with the black back and very natural looking. Again, with the jungle cock, you just cutting the feather fibers on both sides. You don't want them to be completely removed because they're used like a barb, which means that you're not just pulling the jungle cock fibers off the fly. It makes no meaning if they just comes off when you're casting the fly the first time. Just on each side. Let's see. That's fine. And then instead of just cutting it off, I'm just move these stems on both sides, let's see, and give them a wrap also. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You know, just make sure that these won't come off by wrapping them in an extra time. This is going very well. This is just so typical. That's it. Okay, this head is going to be rather big. So I kind of hope that you can cover it with the cone head. The Pro cone head has quite a big room inside to cover this big head, I hope. I'm using I think it's 5.5 millimeter cone head in black. I think it's a size medium. And just give it a piece of a small amount of super glue again, and then the cone head. And this CF tool has a 2.2 millimeter hole, so you can just push the cone head on the fly. That's it. And luckily I could hide all the turns. Daniel, har du en lighter? Må jeg låne en lighter?
Ja.
Tak. Alright, I'm just cutting the tube. I guess you can't see it. Just about 1 millimeter. Cut it off. Put it back on the Pro tube needle